Greetings YouTube, we are less than 10 minutes away from the new episode of Doctor Who airing on BBC One. Feels like I've been waiting an eternity for this new series to come round. New Doctor, you know, it's always... You want to catch it when it airs, you know what I mean? You don't want to hear about it from someone else. I've been avoiding the reviews. I like going in blind. It's never good when you're not surprised by something. I've never really been disappointed with Doctor Who, like, ever. I know some episodes are better than others, but no, I'm not worried in the slightest. Not bothered in the slightest that it's a woman they've cast. I'm just waiting, ticking the minutes by. I'm not going to bother leaving the camera recording while I watch. I'll pick the recording up again afterwards and tell you what I thought of the episode. As you might expect, the weirdness starts straight away. There's no messing about. Very early on, the Doctor drops in, quite literally. The idea of the Doctor having a regeneration crisis started quite a long time ago. I won't even try to tell you when. But it still continues onwards, although I get the impression that they didn't want to dwell on that as much as maybe previous regenerations. She does suffer a little bit, but not as much as maybe I was expecting. Put it this way, she was awake for most of the episode. The new team gets together very quickly because obviously the Doctor is generally inclined to take charge and people seem to just follow him/her around and do whatever she says. She doesn't get given a screwdriver from somewhere this time. She doesn't just pull it out from somewhere. She actually makes one herself this time round, which is quite nifty. I don't want to get into spoiler territory, so I'm not going to talk about, well, anything. But I did feel like the episode maybe dragged a little bit, in teensy-weensy little bit of dragging in the middle of it. This episode is an hour long, and maybe they could have cut about 5 minutes out somewhere in the midsection, maybe. As is the tradition for the new regeneration, they spend pretty much, well, historically they've spent varying amounts of times in their predecessors' clothes, don't they? And this time round, Jodie Whittaker spends the entire episode in Peter Capaldi's old outfit, which is fine. You don't even notice, actually. I had to keep on reminding myself it was his outfit she was wearing. Outside of, like, two-parter episodes that they've had in the recent run of Doctor Who, they don't normally end on cliffhangers. The original run of the series used to end on cliffhangers almost every episode. This episode does end on a cliffhanger. I don't think it's a two-parter, though. And I'm wondering whether any of the other episodes will end on cliffhangers if we're... Because the nature of the episodes have changed... Well, the nature of TV has changed a lot in the intervening years. So, is this going to become a new normal where we get a cliffhanger at the end of every episode? Or is this just a one-off? I don't know. There's no intro sequence. You know, there's no opening flashy credit sequence that we're used to. Not for this episode. But over the closing credits, we do get the new theme song, which I hadn't heard yet, actually, in all honesty. I think it was circulating online at one point. I just haven't bothered listening to it. It definitely sounds like the original theme. I don't just mean like any, you know, the Doctor Who theme. I mean like the original ones, going all the way back to things like William Hartnell and Patrick Troughton. It has a bit more percussion in it, but it sounds very much like the very original Doctor Who theme. I kind of liked it. And of course, really, the only thing I really wanted from this episode was, how is Jodie Whittaker going to do in this role? And obviously everyone's been complaining about it, and I didn't see the point. I mean, whenever I heard that someone was complaining about Jodie Whittaker being cast as Doctor Who, how dare they? I just thought to myself, this sounds very much like whenever Batman is cast. It doesn't seem to matter who they cast as Batman. Everyone complains to high hell, and then as soon as they come on screen, everyone just shuts up and... You know, it's Batman. Each Doctor usually takes me a different amount of time to get used to. The first time I see them. Doctors like David Tennant, I get used to straight away. I'm right there at the beginning. Other doctors like Matt Smith took me about half of his first season to get used to. It took me about 5 or 6 episods before I was on board with him. It varies from one to the other. Tom Baker is obviously another one of my favourites, and John Pertwee. Certain other ones just take me longer to get into. Peter Davison and Colin Baker. Without a word of a lie, I think I was with Jodie Whittaker in the first 5 minutes. I think she hadn't even finished her 3rd sentence probably by the time I was right there with it. It just, I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on what exactly it is that does this for me with any old doctor, but all I know is I was there pretty damn quickly. And I really don't know what everyone was making a fuss about. So that was episode 1, and next Sunday we're going to get episode 2, obviously. Looking forward to that. As I say, this episode ends on a cliffhanger, so I'm kind of wondering how they're going to get out of it. Of course they're going to get out of it. I mean, duh. Otherwise, where's the rest of the series coming from? You know what I mean? Anyhow, looking forward to that. We'll be paying much more attention to the actual story in the episode, because this time I was paying attention, obviously, but I was more bothered about how Jodie Whittaker was going to do with the role, rather than how good the episode was going to be. It is a good episode. It is. I was just more concerned about her performance. That's it. Like, dislike, comment, subscribe and share, all that jazz. See you next time.